The other day I made a video on the California drought, and overall it was a pretty great update. We went from about a year ago, 94% of the state was in severe drought, to now about 8.5% of the state is. So it was great news, and I thought it was going to be a very positive video, get a lot of positive feedback. But a lot of the comments were actually negative, and there was a lot of people kind of mad about the fact that they're saying the majority of California's water actually ends up flowing to the ocean, so we're probably just going to be in a drought again in no time. So I didn't really know much about this, so I thought I'd look into it a little bit, and I did find this on Meteorology Insider. 90% of California's water flows to the ocean. Where does the rest go? So this will answer some of the questions we have, and with the water that we do have, where does that get distributed, and we can just kind of learn about what's going on with California water at the same time. So, California is known for its beautiful beaches, diverse landscapes, and sunshine. Big part of the reason I'll never leave. However, it's also known for its water scarcity issues. The state is prone to droughts and has limited water resources. But did you know that 90% of California's water flows to the ocean? So where does the other 10% go? In this post, we'll explore where this water goes and its importance for the state. So, first thing I'll say is just from a climate perspective, the southwest of the United States, a lot of it is technically desert and it's supposed to be a very dry landscape, but we're able to sustain a lot of the houses that we have, golf courses that we have, agriculture that we have because of irrigation. We have I think it's safe to say we have one of the most complex water systems in the entire world, and that's what makes it possible for this many people to live here. If we weren't bringing in water from different sources, there is no way California could sustain its current population. So, interested to see exactly how the water that is coming in breaks down percentage-wise. So the 10% of California's water that doesn't flow to the ocean is primarily used for urban, agricultural, and industrial purposes. According to the California Department of Water Resources, about 40% of the state's water is used for agriculture. I'd say that makes sense. 10% for urban use, that's actually less than I was thinking it would be. And 50% for environmental purposes, such as preserving habitats and supporting ecosystems. So, pretty easy breakdown there. 50% environmental, 40% agricultural, 10% urban. I'm curious where industrial fits in that, because I've heard industrial takes up a lot of water as well. So agriculture is the biggest user of water in California. The state's fertile farmland produces more than a third of the country's vegetables and 2/3 of its fruits and nuts. So, yeah, percentage-wise there, it uses up 40% of California's water, but then it makes a third of the country's vegetables and 2/3 of its fruits and nuts. That's pretty interesting statistics right there. I didn't realize, I knew California produced a lot of the country and the world's food, but didn't know it was that much. So, however, this comes at a cost. Agriculture consumes a significant amount of water, especially during drought years. In fact, during the recent drought that hit the state between 2011 and 2017, farmers had to fallow their fields and let their crops die due to lack of water. And then one of the other dangers during the big drought years is that we pull up the groundwater, and then it's groundwater that's built up over hundreds, if not even thousands of years. And then if you deplete that faster than it can be replenished, then it becomes an unsustainable practice. So urban areas also consume a significant amount of water. This includes water used for residential and commercial purposes, such as drinking, cooking, cleaning, and industrial uses. All right, so I think that answers the question I had earlier about what about industrial aspect? So they were including that with urban, apparently. California's population is rapidly growing. I'm pretty sure last year our population actually decreased, but most years we are increasing. And this puts a strain on the state's water resources. As more people move to California, the demand for water increases, and so does the pressure on the state's water infrastructure. The remaining 50% of California's water is used for environmental purposes, such as maintaining wetlands, preserving wildlife habitats, and protecting the state's ecosystems. This is a crucial aspect of water management in California, as the state is home to diverse wildlife, including endangered species like the California condor and the desert tortoise. In addition, California's ecosystems provide numerous benefits, such as carbon sequestration, water filtration, and recreational opportunities. I'd say my favorite there is the recreational opportunities. There are some stretches of beaches and some wetlands and some hiking areas and around California that are just absolutely beautiful, and that is one of the things that makes this state so amazing. So yeah, it's the balance between these all these different factors, and I don't have the answers about what the right percentages would be. All I know is I do love California. But why is it important to understand where California's water goes? For one, it helps us to appreciate the value of water and the importance of managing it sustainably. California's water resources are limited, and we need to use them wisely to ensure that we meet the needs of all stakeholders, including farmers, urban residents, and the environment. So it's how do you share a limited resource between the different interests? And those kind of questions are always difficult because it's like, what is a priority? And I think that's why there was such a debate in the comments on that last video I did on the drought, is because it's lots of different people with different ideas on how water should be used in California. And yeah, I'd love to know if anybody knows of any experts out there that I could watch some of their videos to learn more from someone who's really dove into this field. I think that's doven's word, because I think California water is one of the things that I want to learn a lot more about over the next month or two, because it does seem like a big problem. In addition, understanding where California's water goes helps us to identify areas where we can improve water management. For example, we can invest in more efficient irrigation systems to reduce water usage in agriculture, or we can encourage residents to use water-efficient appliances and fixtures to reduce water consumption in urban areas. We can also explore new technologies and innovations such as desalination, and water reuse to increase the availability of water and reduce our reliance on traditional sources. So there's one thing that stuck out there when I was reading it. It was efficient irrigation systems to reduce water usage, and that reminded me of a few months back. I got to talk to a farmer in, I believe it was Hollister, and I was blown away at the science that they use in farming. He has the plants covered in, I think, some sort of black tarp, not only because it keeps them warmer, but it also traps in some of the moisture in the water. And then it's drip irrigation, so it's providing water directly to the plant instead of spraying it into the air and then having some of that water evaporate before it even gets to the plants. Although he did mention whether you use drip or sprinklers does depend on the plant. And then the most amazing part of what I learned talking to him was he said that their field isn't perfectly flat, so some water will filter out from the areas that are a little higher elevation, just slightly higher elevation, but it's enough to make a difference in terms of the plants. And they're actually able to fly a drone and get imagery of the plant's leaves or some other crazy science like that to figure out exactly which plants have been getting too much water, which plants have been getting too little water, and then that feeds into their water system and automatically adjusts how much water is given to the plants. So no plants are receiving extra water, and then plants are also getting just the right amount that they need to make sure that they end up being healthy and usable in the marketplace. So I was blown away. It was almost like he was a farmer playing chess with crops. It was pretty cool to talk to him, and hopefully I'll get to talk to some more farmers over the next couple months if I really decide to dive into water here for a while. So in conclusion, 90% of California's water flows to the ocean, but the other 10% is crucial for the state's survival. This water is used for agriculture, urban areas, and environmental purposes, and understanding where it goes is key to managing it sustainably. By using water wisely, investing in efficient technologies, and protecting the state's ecosystems, we can ensure that California continues to thrive and remain a desirable place to live and work. So overall, I'd say this was an introduction to California water. I don't really know much about it, but I am planning on learning a lot more about it over the next month or two. So what we learned today, 90% of the state's water does flow to the ocean, and then of the remaining 10%, 50% goes to the environment, 10% to urban, and then 40% to agriculture. And it's a very difficult question about where our priorities should lie, and I don't have the answers. Maybe I'll have some more over the next couple of months. Thanks for watching.